I'm Sally Mills of Lavolta and Lavolta Principles, and welcome to Digital Bullets 2010. We've asked some industry experts to share their thoughts on issues and developments in the digital industry. We've given each person 20 seconds to answer those questions, or else they get the chop. So we'll be broadcasting a sizzling digital bullet on a regular basis, one question answered with many different points of view. Hope you enjoy. Now that user-generated content has been part of the digital landscape for a few years, what's your view about it? Is anyone genuinely monetising it? Is it eroding or enhancing the value of traditional, professionally created content? How has it repositioned the market for traditional digital media publishers?
Look, I think it can certainly enhance professional content. From a mobile perspective, I've seen some very effective ways that user-generated content has been used in terms of engaging with communities. Specifically at events, a brand might be sponsoring an event, and it's provided a very effective way in engaging and driving interaction with audiences.
If anybody is successfully monetising user-generated content at the moment, they're being awfully quiet about it. That's not to say that human ingenuity will not find a way, with all those eyeballs looking at that content, to find a way to make money out of it.
User-generated content is fantastic, and it's horrible. I think that dichotomy reaffirms for me that talent wins, whether that talent comes from a user or it comes from a professional.
User-generated content is very, very important. It certainly does challenge traditional publishers, and they can't do much about it, except maybe invite comments around their articles. And there are people who are making money out of it. You know, there are a number of blogs out there that have got a lot of readership. Huffington Post is sort of a classic one of these, or Curbed in the US. You know, there's all these things have generated a strong followership. Once you've got followership, you've got eyeballs, you've got page impressions, you've got advertising opportunity, you can make money.
Generated is great for building communities and encouraging interaction with users. But in terms of comparing it with professionally produced content, I think it is a dangerous game. I think we are encouraging consumers to look at other forms of content rather than fully researched and professionally developed content. So I think it is a dangerous game.
Is anyone genuinely monetising user-generated content? Yes, of course. I'm monetising user-generated content with the comments in my blog or contributed articles. But then, of course, we have examples like Flickr, YouTube, Facebook. Facebook, I think, now a more popular website than Google in North America. More people visit Facebook than Google on any given week. Yes, of course, we're monetising it.
I think it's enhanced. As a traditional digital media publisher, I think user-generated content, audience feedback, and what someone who uses a product has to say about their experience with that product is as valuable as how an editor rates a product. Combining that together is actually more valuable information than one or the other in a standalone format.
I love it. There are, through user-generated content, new stories, new narratives, new perspectives, multiple ways that we can see truths about events that are emerging, so it's fantastic, I think. There are certainly implications and issues around our perceived notion of authenticity and legitimacy, and there is a role for both. I think they can coexist in a really lovely way.
I think the key thing is that with a lot of the user-generated content, we're not trying to win an Academy Award or a Cannes Award for advertising. People like that raw, authentic stuff. So I think it's really just expanding the pool of content from a broader pool of people, as opposed to sort of needing high production values with everything we do. So, yeah, user-generated content really is a way to engage with people, and starting to think about how can I bring user-generated content into what I'm doing is a real key, I think, for the future.
I think the problems that traditional media have with user-generated content eroding their business models is not the problem of user-generated content, it's just that they've clung on to those old business models for way too long, and the way we use the internet has changed.
What do I think it's done for traditional media publishers? I think it's eroded yield, it's added a whole lot of supply to a market that's already oversupplied. And the issue that we're facing as an industry is there's a belief that an eyeball is an eyeball regardless of context. And I feel other media have done a very good job of establishing and creating value around context, and digital feels that an eyeball on Facebook is just as valuable as an eyeball on The Economist, and I don't think that's the case.
I think UGC's really been a good thing for publishers because the vast majority of it is crap, and I think that it's shown that there really is a place for quality content, and that there's a price to be paid for that, whether that's a paid model or whether it's an advertising-based model. I think the vast majority of UGC is just complete rubbish. A small percentage of it is interesting, and even smaller percentage is actually useful. So I think the UGC community has done publishers a huge favour.
With user-generated content, a lot of companies are dipping their toes in into the area. Canon, one of our clients, is doing a great job of making sure that not only are they creating the platform for users to come and upload their content, but they're also creating it so it's creating a buzz and that community around the content that's being created.
I think people are making a lot of money out of social or user-generated content. If you look at a lot of the forum sites, like Essential Baby, that's a site that's well monetised and well trafficked. It goes hand in glove with professionally produced content. I think for certain types of content, you actually want to hear what other people are saying or what other people's experiences are. But then for other things like, breaking news, views, analysis, insight, you do want to have the knowledge that it's professionally produced, there's no editorial bias, and that, there's a consistency to it. So I think these two things go hand in glove.
I think user-generated content was probably one of the biggest letdowns of last decade. Obviously, a lot of people got involved with it, but from a monetary point of view, you're seeing limited opportunities for that. At the end of the day, people want good content, and man gets hit in groin or cat on fire on skateboard doesn't necessarily mean good content.